I say this with seriousness and respect, but your department is out of control. You are spending like you don't have a budget. You're on the verge of running out of money for the fiscal year. You are illegally refusing to spend funds that have been authorized by this Congress and appropriated by this committee. You are ignoring the immigration laws of this nation, implementing a brand new immigration system that you have invented that has little relation to the statutes that you are required, that you are commanded to follow, as spelled out in your oath of office. You are routinely violating the rights of immigrants who may not be citizens, but whether you like it or not, they have constitutional and statutory rights when they reside in the United States. Your agency acts as if laws don't matter, as if the election gave you some mandate to violate the Constitution and the laws passed by this Congress. It did not give you that mandate. You act as if your disagreement with the law, or even the public's disagreement with the law, is relevant and gives you the ability to create your own law. It does not give you that ability. Let's start with your spending. You are on track to trigger the Anti-Deficiency Act. That means you are going to spend more money than you have been allocated by Congress. This is a rare occurrence, and it is wildly illegal. Your agency will be broke by July, over 2 months before the end of the fiscal year. You may not think that Congress has provided enough money to ICE, but the Constitution and the federal law does not allow you to spend more money than you have been given or to invent money. And this obsession with spending at the border, as the chairwoman mentioned, has left the country unprotected elsewhere. The security threats to the United States are higher, not lower, than when before Trump came to office. To fund the border, you have illegally gutted spending for cybersecurity. As we speak, Russian and Chinese hackers are having a field day attacking our nation. You've withdrawn funds for disaster prevention. Storms are going to kill more people in this country because of your illegal withholding of these funds. Your myopia about the border, fueled by President Trump's prejudice against people who speak a different language, has shattered many of this country's most important defenses. I acknowledge that you don't believe that people should be able to apply for asylum, but you don't get to choose that. The White House doesn't get to choose that. The law requires you to process people who are showing up at the border and who claim asylum. Why? Because our asylum law is a bipartisan commitment, an effort to correct for our nation's unconscionable decision to deny entry to Jews to this country who are being hunted and killed by the Nazis. Our nation, Republicans and Democrats, decided, wrote it into law, that we would not repeat that horror ever again, and thus we would allow for people who were fleeing terror and torture to come here, arrive at the border, and make a case for asylum. I say that
I actually do believe that the Trump team is going to start looking at a sovereign default. They're going to start looking at having U.S. default on its bonds. That will be the real thing that crushes, if that happens, or if even people significantly think it's going to happen, that will crush the American economy. We'll be really fucked. Our banks will fail. Well, that's 2008 level of fuckage at that point. So once they start talking about sovereign default in public, head for the hills. Because I do think that they probably will. Because, Trump declares bankruptcy. That's what he does. He's like, wait, debt? This is a piece of paper. I don't have to pay you. You borrowed the money, dumbass. I'm not going to pay back. So he doesn't pay back. And so I think that he's going to look at sovereign default. He's going to say, it's not my fault. I didn't borrow this money, which is, yeah, he did. He borrowed a lot of it, So I actually do believe that the Trump team is going to start looking at a sovereign default. They're going to start looking at having U.S.
Good morning and welcome to Let It Be Known. I am your host, Stacey Brown.
Peace and love, everybody. I'm your co-host, Niel. And Stacey, I just got so tickled by Senator Murphy. White folks is turning red. They losing their mind.
Well, it's everything. You always say, when you talk about Black women and y'all 92%, you say we resting. They are not resting. They are upset. They are really
hair out.
I mean, and folks you wouldn't expect. Let me rephrase that. Folks who didn't think they would have to.
I mean, the way Senator Murphy, he laid it out. I was like, bravo. Tell them people, tell them.
And isn't it cool to see it from folks of privilege? Because he's got his privilege intact.
Right. And then the next guy comes on talking about sovereign default. He said, it's coming. It's coming. They are freaking out because they know. They know.
It's like, what do you expect This is why folks got to remember. This is one of the reasons why they didn't give this guy a second term when he ran against Biden in 2020. This guy, he runs. First of all, his sons are over around the world making money for him with these other countries. Something that they said they wanted to put Biden's son in prison for, and the guy has run every single business that his father left for him into the ground.
He bankrupt a college, took
He
money from
bankrupted the
people who
college.
were seeking education and thinking that he's a brilliant real estate mogul and that he has something to impart in them. He robbed them.
See, and this is not to go down the rabbit hole, but this is why black folks who talk about, oh, I can relate to Trump and those ones that he was in proximity to, the Mike Tysons, the Michael Jacksons, the big stars of the world, and he was hanging with black. He was not hanging with black folks, number one. But the thing about it, it was all a myth. He played everybody. He played you. He was not a smart businessman. He's not a smart businessman, and certainly not a smart president.
Yeah.
As simple as that. I mean, listen, he may be very savvy in a lot of things, and you can use the term savvy, I guess, to describe him. Smart, you'll never be able to convince me
Well, thank God there is so much more to talk about around in this country and around
Yep.
the world. And we're going to let the white folks handle and deal with Donald Trump. And we're going to jump into some more headlines that are uplifting and, you might find intriguing this morning. Stacey, what we got?
Well, first and foremost, we have to say it's Friday, so we have to pay homage to Orange G because it is Happy Swag Hoodie Day, and he is rocking Jackson State University today.
Mhm. We have some
So,
news about Jackson State later on in the show, Orange G. So,
okay,
yeah, you're
there
in
you,
tune with our conversation.
there you go. So there it is. And generally, Niel, he asks, "What are you wearing?" And you're not necessarily representing,
No,
are
I
you?
do. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
representing
okay.
Black women. We're dope.
Oh,
Period. Okay,
oh,
let's
okay.
just
Well,
send
there
this
you
off.
go.
And this is courtesy of the Black Women's Roundtable, led by Melanie Campbell. So yeah, I'm rocking my Black Pride shirt today, Orange G.
Yeah, Melanie is we've had her on a few times. She is definitely a friend of the Black press, Melanie Campbell, and
Hmm.
very, very strong black woman right there. So um we start off today. I know that everybody wants to get into well, not everybody. Some people want to get into the Pope, but we're gonna get to the Pope in a minute. Is he black, Niel?
What this is what we do know. The white smoke appeared yesterday, and we have done some digging and got some details. But before we get to that, Greer says
Pop
we have a
quiz.
pop quiz.
See,
You want to
at
take
the
it?
1936 Olympics, despite his historic run, he returned to segregation and worked as a street sweeper in Pasadena. Named this forgotten medalist whose brother broke barriers in a different arena. Holy
Hmm.
smoke. That's a great question. At the
Hmm.
1936 Olympics, despite his historic run, he returned to segregation and worked as a street sweeper in Pasadena. Name this forgotten medalist, and here's a great clue, I guess, whose brother broke barriers in a different arena. Inferno 932. That's not a proper answer. You would lose on Jeopardy. He says Jesse Owens' his brother. You got to come up with a name, Inferno. Jesse Owens or Joe Lewis is what Orange G says.
Hmm. I
I
was
tend to
thinking
think Joe
Jesse Owens.
Lewis.
I was thinking Jesse Owens.
I think I want to go with Joe Lewis. Anybody else got some suggestions or answers and without Googling? So that's a great one. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the answer to this one.
That's a
Wow.
good question. For two reasons it sticks out to me. Because of course we talked a lot about the Met Gala this week, but the gentleman Christian Latchman, who was on the invitation, that gorgeous black young man that was on the invitation, he works a 9 to 5 every day still,
Mm,
like at a
wow.
Walgreens or CVS. And so although sometimes you're thrust into the spotlight, you still working at 9 to 5. And then the second thing is my grandfather was a what is it, street sweeper out here in LA. And so that is a commendable and noble job. So love the question, Greer. Brother.
And David Youngblood is piggybacking off of the way Inferno 932 answers his question. He says Jackie Robinson's brother. Well, Jackie Robinson's brother has a name, David. Give me a name.
We're
Dr.
close.
Joni.
Maybe that we're close.
Yeah.
Maybe those are some, some close.
Yeah.
I'm going for Jesse Owens. I don't know why, but I like that pick.
Dr. Joni says Jesse Owens. Inferno says, my bad, Jackie Robinson's brother, Mark. I didn't know his brother name was Mark. So good on you, Inferno. Hopefully you're right. I didn't even know you had a brother, right? Michelle Madison says, what's the question again? I'm watching my grandchildren.
We'll give it to you because you're doing a noble task.
A noble task. At the 1936 Olympics, despite his historic run, he returned to segregation and worked as a street sweeper in Pasadena. Name this forgotten medalist whose brother broke barriers in a different arena. And here's why I won't say Jesse Owens, because Jesse Owens is not forgotten. So
it depends on who you ask.
I guess. Okay. That's a fair point.
Ask a millennial or a Gen Zer.
I know, that's true. All right, so folks, the Trump administration has removed a memorial honoring gun violence victims from the ATF's main atrium, taking down about 120 portraits installed during Biden's administration. The Justice Department spokesperson Chad Gilmartin claimed the move wasn't political. He said officials are exploring other ways to honor victims. This memorial was created by the Biden-appointed ATF director, Stephen Dettelbach, and it features photos of fallen officers, children killed in mass shootings, and other victims with a kiosk that tells their stories, and their families quite often visited the displays. It's like, how cold-hearted can you get? Every time we feel like they're cold and heartless, they can go even lower.
I just feel good this morning because white folks are really having an awakening and a reckoning, and they are seeing that they're feeling what we feeling. We just had a story this week on Black Press USA about Trump removing the MLK bust out of his office, or out of his office, and so it's across the board. He don't care. If you're not in his tax bracket or in his inner circle, he don't care. And even if you in his inner circle, you 2 steps away from getting cut too. And so, deal with it.
Right. Inferno 932 says racism is expensive. That's a great one. Absolutely. And by the way, a couple of corrections on Jackie Robinson's brother, Dr. Joni 2 and Michelle Madison. And David Youngblood said Mac is the brother's name. Mac, not Mark. All right. But this is some horrendous stuff. But like I guess you put that one to bed. That's a good one. Let's go to something else.
Where my fan at? Where them fans?
Did you see the video of the white chicks with the young with the what and Sam? What is going on with that?
So now the white people is doing the where them fans at dance. And so I commented and I said, they bet not be no Trump supporters.
Bet not.
Because it's not for them. You're not
bet
taking
not
over this.
Info. Bet not info. Y'all heard that, right? That's some serious South Central LA speak right there.
They bet not be Trump supporters. How dare you? We are not doing it at the White House. You do that at the White House right now, we gonna protest. Some things are just not acceptable. That is our
protest.
That is our joy, and that is our song of resistance.
I would like to report a crime.
A crime?
Yes.
Where them fans at? Where them fans at?
Oh my God.
Give me one time.
Oh my God. Now,
I would like to report a crime.
A crime?
Yes.
They're not allowed. Not allowed. Unacceptable. Report them. It's a crime.
It is a crime. Arrest them. That deserves like a sentence too. Give them a year of hard labor or something.
Who told them? Who told them that was okay? Who gave them that song? You know what? That song should not be able to be played by white people. Not in this time. If you white, it should just go to
But
another
Nia,
country song.
you know, I laugh about it, but you know what? Don't they co-op everything?
But
Don't
this
they?
one is different. This is different. We're
No,
going.
I
We're
know.
healing.
Listen,
We're
I'm with you.
healing. You know, I'm with you too. But we're healing with this song. This is our joy. This is our form of resistance. We're not paying it. Well, see, Senator Murray, he was on the hill going crazy. We was line dancing. You know, like no, you can't have it.
He was going crazy.
Something no. Go do the Cupid Shuffle or the
The
Electric
Cupid
Slide,
Shuffle.
but not
Oh Lord.
not Boots on the Ground.
You
Boots on the
know,
Ground is ours right now.
I got so tired of that electric. I can't even. I don't even know why people do the electric slide anymore. When I lived in Washington, this is the late '80s down in DC. Oh my gosh, that was all. It was like the summer of like '89, I think it was, or '88. One of those '89, and it was like electric slide. Even in the office, there was electric slide everywhere. It's like y'all got it for lunch. They did the electric slide. Before they
Well,
went home, they did the electric slide.
we're still doing the electric slide. You go to a party now, and it's like a
I
set.
know. I'm
You
so
got the electric slide, the Cupid
that.
Shuffle,
Yep.
the other one, and now
Cha
you got
cha.
cha cha, and now you got Boots on the Ground. You know they could do the electric slide. They could do not Boots on the Ground right now. Not now. You
Oh
know
my
how they
God,
say
that's
too soon,
horrendous.
too soon, too soon, white
No,
folks,
well,
too soon.
how about never?
I mean, later on, because we'll have something new. We'll have something
Okay.
new. Not now.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
now. Mm-mm.
Wow, that is just incredible. Nancy Wall says they have no rhythm to go along with it. It's not for you. And Mike
No,
B
it's
says
not.
he said the chicken noodle soup. Wow,
So what we
I
gonna
like
call them?
that.
Campbell's? We're gonna call them Campbell's. The Campbell's.
The Campbells. But here's something real serious and it's getting on my last nerve, especially ahead of our trip to Savannah next month. But I don't have to fly out of Newark, but I still have to fly apparently. But Newark air traffic controllers say radar and radio failures are happening much too often and they are flying blind. A retired controller told NBC News that the team is shell-shocked after a system crash last week that left a dozen planes without guidance for 90 seconds. A dozen planes without guidance for 90 seconds. Controllers say outages have happened at least twice since August, with radio blackouts 8 or 9 times. They're working 10-hour shifts, 6 days a week on aging equipment that's so old that it probably was installed by Lincoln when he was the president, and they're pleading with the FAA to fix it. And of course, Mr. Businessman that's in the Oval Office fired all of the FAA people.
Yeah,
There's no one working there.
Yeah, flying is scary. That takeoff and that landing, it's scary. Because you know that we have a air traffic controlling problem. Like just you quoted all the facts, lack of resources, lack of staff, overworked. It's a scary thing, you know.
And of course, those Black Hawks continue to cause havoc at Reagan National Airport in DC. This is, it's an outrage. It's an absolute outrage.
Mhm.
And he says, RNG says the whole FAA is acting like Spirit Airlines now.
Well, there was a statistic. There was a study, and Spirit Airlines came out as the safest airline on the market
Right.
now.
I saw that.
Yeah. So you talk about Spirit all you want to, they the safest.
Yeah, how about that? I just can't get with Spirit though. They gotta fix
It's like
the planes.
Greyhound. It's the Greyhound.
It's the Greyhound. There you go.
It's the Greyhound of flying. So is Frontier. Frontier is another one that is the Greyhound. But hey, if you could get a $19 flight to the Bahamas, I tell you to, like in the words of Erykah Badu, pack light and get on the plane.
Oh gosh. That was your schoolmate, right? Eric, that's the one that was your
Mhm,
schoolmate.
mhm,
Yeah, that's it.
mhm.
Yeah, I saw something. What did she do recently? It was something she did recently. She said something recently that was really profound. She's always into something. I forgot. I saw
Mhm.
something and I meant to bring it up to you, but I forgot now. But
Her
whatever.
isms, her Badu-isms.
Her Baduisms. Yeah, yeah. There you go. So somebody said Nancy Wall says she believes Spirit is led by a black man.
Mm.
Oh, Austin has. Where's Austin been? He got a new pope, so now he feels like he has a new lease on life now that he has a new pope. Austin says, "I only fly first or business class."
Mm.
Austin
Can I have
pops
some,
in
can
with
I have
that.
some of your points?
Listen, it's pointless to give away points.
Can I have your point? Can I have some points? Some frequent flyer
See,
miles,
Austin,
Austin.
Austin loves to start trouble. He brings up people like Taylor Swift when it's not called for, and that's just what he does. He says, I would not like. What are you saying, Orangey? He says you better ask Common. I don't know what he's saying. I would not like in Erica eyes. I'm missing the boat on that one. You're gonna have to clarify.
Well, I
But
know I
go
heard
ahead.
Erica, I heard Common. I know they used to go together.
Oh, did
So
they?
mhm.
That who didn't Common date? He done
Well,
dated
yeah.
all the celebrity women.
Yeah, well, it seems like
Wow.
him and Jennifer Hudson though are holding down strong. This looks like the longest he's been with someone. So it
Jennifer
looks
Hudson really, really ticked me off when she was at the basketball game a few weeks ago with Common. And the ball, she's sitting on this front row, celebrity row, and the ball goes over and it hits her. Common tried to block the ball from hitting her, but she seemed like she had such an attitude. You're sitting on the front row, celebrity row. Get over it. Other than that, I'm not going to bother Jennifer. Although we ran into Jennifer at the airport in Chicago, about 2-3 years ago, and homegirl was in a wheelchair being wheeled around to her flight and from her flight. Why?
maybe she hurt her knee or leg.
Oh, Griff says, here's a question for you. She says, who didn't Erica date?
Yeah, they say my poor friend. They say she puts voodoo on her man. I
Is she bad? Is she like a Halle Berry?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, that's just what they say. So yeah, I'm not even. That's my friend. I'm not. I got nothing to say.
Because
Um,
Halle, Halle. I don't know what happens with Halle Berry and these men. Do you think that
I think.
it's more
Go
because
ahead.
it's Halle Berry that men like they just can't handle the fact that she's this symbol of people put her up as a symbol of beauty and perfection, and she doesn't. I don't know what is it with Halle Berry?
I
Why she
don't
can't
think
keep a
that
man?
Halle Berry has dated any more men than any of the rest of us women. I just think that she's a public figure, so everybody knows her business.
Okay.
But I really don't think that she has dated more men than the average woman. It's just public knowledge. And why should she
Yeah.
stay in a relationship that she's not happy in just to make people
Well,
feel like she can keep a relationship?
no, you're right. But it seems like she's been in an abusive relation. Why would somebody want to abuse a woman, period? But what's with Halle that, it seems like it's been more than a couple of abusive relationships.
But that was when she was a younger woman. When you know better, you do better.
But
We're
even that
talking about
the
we're talking about in the late 80s, early 90s.
90s, but even her husband, the ex-husband, Aubrey or whatever, didn't they have some issues there with with some altercations?
I don't remember hearing that. I know they had
Okay.
issues with him wanting her to pay him child support.
Oh boy,
And that
that's
was
a
in the
show.
courts. But I don't
That's
see Halle Berry doing more than any other woman. She's just a public
okay.
figure.
That's a whole show. Halle was actually that's I say that's a whole show. I'm talking about women paying men child support. We need to have like an expert on talk. We need to have some psychiatrists and stuff on for that. I really would love to have that conversation. I just can't see it, but nonetheless, I'm not in that situation.
Mhm.
And the other thing with Halle is, let me just say this: she does her social media well. So they was tweeting about or posting about her being the subject of all these rap songs, and she's like, "Yep, I'm waiting for the next one." She celebrates that stuff in the right way. I mean, look, she is a legend, and good for her.
Yeah.
By the way, Dr. Nicole says of Jennifer Hudson that Jennifer Hudson did a whole segment about the game on her show after that, and she wanted to clear the air. I saw that too, but in the moment, why you at a game? It's like being at a baseball game and a foul ball comes your way and you're aggravated because a foul ball came your way. It was just like, come on, relax. I'm sure Common was like, relax, okay? So there's enough. Hallie is an outstanding citizen and renowned actress. Watch yourself, Stacy, says Austin. And you're not gonna like this, Niel. Orange G says light-skinned women are extra crazy. He says my wife is what, and my wife is brown and she has issues. What is he? Why are you going in
I'm
on?
gonna just say sometimes you guys should just go back and hear yourselves. Just go back and listen to yourselves. I'm gonna stop commenting
wait a
on some of
minute.
these things. I'm gonna just
Wait-
let y'all talk.
Wait a minute. Greer said you're not light enough. So
And I love it. I love it. Shoot. I'm trying to, I have dreams about going to Africa and me hearing the ancestors say, "Welcome home, cousin." That's what I'm trying to get to.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to get over there and bake. So I appreciate that comment, Greer.
Dr. Nicole told me she's planning to go into Ghana. So
Good
there
for
you
you.
go.
I'm trying to get there. Okay.
Okay. Hallie is a diabetic. Insulin levels changes their moods. Wow, what? How do we know so much about these people? Oh, Greer says she's saying that she don't think anybody would call you light skinned.
I don't think I'm light skinned. I think I'm brown.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, brown. Yeah.
I don't think I
Um,
passed the paper bag test. And I'm proud
Oh
of that.
my God! What is
I'm
the
proud
paper
of
bag
that.
test?
I'm proud of that.
What is the paper bag test?
You know what the paper bag test
No, I
is.
don't. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what my version, what I think is the paper bag test. She ugly, so you put a bag over her.
No, back in the day where the paper bag tests where they would it was a colorism thing. And they would do the brown paper bag to test, your color. See, what you too old not to know that, Stacey. Yeah. He's just being
I'm telling you,
facetious.
no, I'm serious.
He's
No, I'm
just
not.
being facetious.
Really, Niel, in my neighborhood growing up, I used to hear guys say, "Oh, just put a bag over her face," and I
Well,
thought that was
okay.
so disrespectful. That's so I didn't know. No, I really, some history maybe I just don't know. Y'all gotta educate.
Mm.
Listen, I need education. Don't be depriving me of education.
Hmm.
I'm
The brown paper bag test was a discriminatory practice primarily among Black social groups where individuals were evaluated based on their skin tone.
Okay. And Mike V says brown bag test is Plessy versus Ferguson as well. Okay. See, I honestly, I'm being serious. I did not know that. I did not know that. I missed that in the whole Brown. I'm sorry, Plessy versus Ferguson thing. I missed that. So
I really learned about that when I first saw Invitation to Life. That's when I began to learn and I heard about the brown paper bag test. I don't think it was in the movie, but that sparked that conversation or that knowledge for me when I saw Invitation to Life.
okay. And when was that?
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago. Okay.
Yeah.
I just went. It missed me. So all right. Dr. Jones says no. He knows that I didn't. I really, honestly, am being truthful. That in my neighborhood, they used to. This will show you how ignorant we could be. That's what That's what was going on there. Dr. Nicole knew, and she says paper bag test was a real thing in the Black community in the early 20th century.
Yeah, and it
Okay.
wasn't them. That was us.
Right. All right. Oh, there it is. The tragic history of the brown paper bag test, the discriminatory practice used to exclude dark-skinned Black people.
Yeah, you'd be excluded, Stacy.
Hey, don't be excluding me from stuff.
You be excluded from
You
the
can
club.
you can exclude me from that whole all those white folks dancing to that fan with the fan song.
Well, Greer said that I'd be excluded too, and I'm proud of it.
Okay. Um, I saw something. Well, maybe we should move on.
Well, we have
Oh,
to talk about the biggest story
yeah.
within the past 24 hours, the white smoke. The white smoke appeared
The white
at the
white
Vatican.
smoke black pope. Is it true? Is it true? Black America, some people in black America certainly are taking some pride in a truth shaking up the Vatican and resonating through the streets of New Orleans. Pope Leo, formerly Cardinal. Oh, there you go.
Oh my
Formerly
God.
Cardinal
So
Robert Prevost.
let's put
Chicago.
some
Go ahead.
let's put some context to that song. So that song was "It's Time for the Percolator," which is
Time for the
famous
Percolator.
in Chicago, and that is where the new pope is from. Okay, Stacey, you can go ahead. We
No,
just
that's
had to put some
okay.
context
I'm
to
glad
that.
yeah, there you go.
Time
And
for
so the former Cardinal Robert Prevost has black and Creole roots, and not just symbolic ones, according to how you say that word? Genealogist or whatever. Jerry Honora, his maternal lineage traces directly to the black community of New Orleans' 7th Ward, with family ties to Haiti and census records identifying his ancestors as black or mulatto. And so there's some. So I see Eli. What's it? How you say it? Eli Mistel? Eli Mistel? What? How you say his name?
I'm not in the chat. I'm sorry.
No, what's his name? The
Pope?
No, we talk about him before. Eli Mistel. He's a black guy. He's a justice correspondent. But anyway, he says by the Europeans' own 1/8 rules, we have a black pope. So,
I like it. By their rules, not ours, their rules.
right,
Like
right. Well, listen, the National Catholic Reporter and the Black Catholic Messenger both detailed how the Pope's grandparents married in 1887 at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Church on Annette Street in New Orleans before migrating north. His mother, Mildred Martinez, was the first child in the family born in Chicago. And the historian simply put it this way, quote, the Holy Father's ancestors are identified as either black or mulatto. And there's been various other reports now too.
Well, I mean, I think it's also important to note that he is the first American pope. So that was history being made too. We've never had an American pope. They've all been from other places. So that's off to him. I mean, I love all those facts that you said, but my Black history facts come from Nicole Hannah Jones, and she tweeted, "I didn't give a whit about new pope coverage, but the first American pope, being a man with black ancestry born in Chicago by way of New Orleans by way of Haiti, names himself after the pope who condemned slavery in the Trump era. Oh baby, I'm here for it." And I'm with Hannah. I'm here for it.
Well, it's interesting too that she says that because in addition to Nicole, Representative Troy Carter and Mark Morial all chimed in, but and all celebrated his not only his American roots, his roots in the black community, his family's roots in the black community, but also this Pope has been very critical of Donald Trump, even tweeting as recently as a month ago, slamming him for his immigration policies. And back in 2016, 2017, he slammed Trump over Trump's what he perceived as Trump's racism as well.
And I love, like she said, he names himself after the Pope who condemned slavery. So it seems like the choices, he's very conscious of the choices he's making, and there is a why that has to do with people of color. And so I'm like, Nicole, I'm here for it. Look.
Oh Lord. And before, so is that okay, so now we got all of the Haitian, the Creole, the Black roots out of the way. Without all of that, let me put it that way. Without all of that, if he's just another Pope John Paul or whatever, do our community as a whole really care about uh, the Pope? Who's the Pope or whatever? Do they? I mean, unless of course it's somebody who's black or with some black ties.
Well, no, there's a huge Black Catholic community, especially in New Orleans. A lot of
Hmm.
blacks are Catholic, and they carry that faith. I used to be the religion editor at the Los Angeles Sentinel here, and there's a big community of African American Catholics, and so yeah, it does matter. And traditionally, even if you're Christian, when the Pope dies, everybody's looking for the black and white smoke.
Mm,
It's just a part of our culture. And the Pope is somebody of reverence, just like in the black community, we have our bishops. The head bishop is our Pope. I used to always call Bishop Charles Blake. I used to be like, if there was a black pope, if we had a black pope, it would be Bishop Charles Blake. But now I guess it's Bishop Sheard out of Detroit. But yeah, it matters. It does matter.
okay, okay, I got you. Wow. Okay. Well, there
I,
you have
I
it,
want to.
folks.
I'm sorry, guys. I gotta jump in here because I wanted to say something really interesting. I'm not gonna give this movie away. I don't know if anyone. I know that Stacy, you just saw the Conclave. Did you ever get around
Mhm.
to seeing it, Neil?
I started watching it. It didn't hold my attention all the way through.
Well, here's what.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's interesting too. But what I think is interesting in this way, how art kind of imitates life. When you think about the end, the twist, right? Because what happened in that movie, there was a twist, and I'm not going to say what it was, but it was a really interesting twist. And then you
Hmm.
have art imitate life because this Pope, he's not just American, but his lineage. There's that twist. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Which I thought found to be really, amusing yesterday.
Hmm.
Anybody in the chat who saw that movie knows what I'm talking about. That we have this conclave, and also I would imagine that a lot of people, at least I can speak for myself, I didn't know how the Pope was chosen, really. So that
Hmm.
movie shed light on that. And so, I kind of feel like, again, art imitates life in this case. How many popes in our lifetime, let's say within the last 20, 30 years, we can say, you know, two, just over 2 decades or more. How many popes have died in the last 50 years?
So you
About
had
three.
you had like three, yeah, like three who died. John Paul the Fourth. It was a John Paul the Fourth or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, Francis, and who died before Francis? It was so you had about four of them
Yeah,
actually in
three or
my
four.
lifetime. Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that we talked about it yesterday. Greer just talked about it too. That movie did give you some serious insight on what goes on when they're picking the Pope. So it's really
Yeah,
interesting
I'm gonna
stuff.
give it another shot again. I mean, I tried. But I guess it's back. I've always watched it as like background while I'm working, but it just
Mm,
didn't. It didn't grab me. But I've always paid attention when something happens at the Vatican. The smoke intrigued me because it's like all these people start flocking to that little that space at the Vatican, and they just stand there and they just look up for the smoke.
mm.
I was like, just look for the smoke, and that's where
Look
your
for the
interest
smoke.
is
Yeah,
coming from.
and it has to be white.
It has to be
But
white. The black
yeah,
smoke
because
is bad. Black smoke is bad. Something bad
well,
didn't happen.
well, no, it just means that they haven't made a decision.
Okay, that's
That's
what
what
it
the
means.
black
I
smoke.
just know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they put the black smoke up? But do they put the black smoke up when he dies?
They-
Doesn't the black smoke go out when he dies?
I
Or
don't
he's
think
sick
so.
or something?
No, they in the conclave. So,
Oh, okay.
shucks. She- um, Inferno nine
I'm
thirty two says
Christian.
well, yeah. Well, Catholics say they Christian. So,
Oh, well, they Catholic to me.
yeah,
But
me
yeah, it's
too.
different.
Listen, but Inferno 932 says, I believe the majority of black people are looking for anyone willing to stand up for tolerance and acceptance of all.
Hmm.
The question becomes, okay, he's willing to do all that, but what type of influence or power he has when it comes to these? Because you're supposed to separate church and state, right? So what kind
Mhm.
of power does he really wield when to make a difference?
I mean, the Catholic Church is one of the most political forces front since, kings and queens ruled. They
And
have so much political power.
and what's interesting about that is that here we are, right? The world is looking at Italy. These folks went to Africa and stole all of the things, including, you know what I'm saying? They robbed Africa, even of Christianity. So everyone in the world is focused on Italy, and they stole Christianity from Africa. So I'm sorry. I've always thought about that. Right. Like, so
Mm.
I mean, I can say I could care less, to be honest with you, don't take anything away from my spirituality. But I think that when I say not care less, but I don't have the same level of reverence that probably most people who call themselves Christian, have about, the Pope. The symbol that it's something about the idea of this, and it's always going to be a white man. It's like, and we worshiping this person, and the best that Black folks can hope for is tolerance.
Well, I
Mm.
mean, and when you go back to and you look at like the stories of King Henry and how he's the one that broke away from the Catholic Church, and then that's where you had the Protestants, and a lot of things that we even read in the church today were written by King Henry, and then you have the King James Version Bible. And part of the reason that they wanted to break away from the Catholic Church had nothing to do with religion. It had to do to where King Henry wanted to marry somebody, and you couldn't. And the Pope wouldn't let you do that. You had to stay with your wife. So a lot of the reasons why they even broke off from the Catholic Church was for personal reasons. It didn't even have nothing to do with faith. And so when you go back and you talk about religion and Catholic and Pope, all of it is political. All
Oh,
of it is
absolutely.
political.
And that's why and so is the conclave. So you just stick with
Mhm.
it. It's a slow moving, story, but it's about the politics. And even if we want to talk about conspiracies, they talked about yesterday, how somebody from the White House was trying to, find, bribe
Influence.
them
Yeah.
to make sure, you know what I mean? There was some bribery going on about who they were going to choose.
Nothing
Right.
new.
I mean,
Mhm.
right. And so what I'm just saying is that Christianity is centered on, whiteness, and all of our spirituality, around the world is centered around whiteness, and so much so that everybody, even in Africa, the motherland, they are focused on who the Pope is, and all of us, especially when they drop that it could be a Black one in Africa, we're crossing our fingers. Honey, my fingers and my toes, I had them stretched wide. I had no no expectation, but I get it. I'm just saying, like, I think that it's all entertainment and politics to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Religion is very much based in politics, for sure.
absolutely.
Um,
Sure.
Interestingly, Mike V says Biden was the first Catholic president since JFK. That's an
That's why
interesting
he was
fact.
at the funeral. Everybody was like, why is Biden at the Pope's funeral? Because he's Catholic and he's showing respect and paying reverence. That's his
Mm.
faith. But if you
All
really
right.
want to know the evolution of religion, go back and watch some movies about King James and King Henry, and how the Catholic Church was so embedded in their reign, and how they couldn't really do anything without the approval from the Pope. And that is why you have all of these different religions breaking out, because the king didn't want to adhere to the Pope's rule and sovereignty. They wanted to create their own. And so it's all political. And Catholicism and the Catholic Church has been there since the inception.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame that they mix, because they really shouldn't mix. like she said, the fact that you have folks from the White House, and there's several reports that suggest that they were trying to essentially influence or even bribe, if you will, uh, the Vatican to pick the Pope that they wanted. I mean, that's just
Mhm.
it's sad to see that. It's wrong to see that type of meddling going on, but whatever. Listen, it's their world.
Yeah, I'm just
We-
saying. I love those classics like the Tudors and stuff.
Mm.
And so that ain't nothing new. That is the history of the Catholic Church, meddling, influence, power. And so we'll just see how this Pope resists the Trump administration and hate and all the bad stuff that Putin, Trump, and whoever else are spewing around the world.
Well, let's get to your quickies.
Well, we were just talking about the White House. um, and in more Trump clan news, the White House is proposing to eliminate Section 8 vouchers and cutting rental assistance by 40%.
That's cruelty.
It is. It is. And I
More
hope that
cruelty.
now these are things that I hope some of us are paying attention to. Because rental assistance isn't just for low income people, it's for people who are out there hustling and need help, need some assistance. Not that they need the government to take care of them, but these are just programs that help our communities and our nation work. And we started off the show talking about Trump is bankrupting the country. He really is. And this is a story to add to that conversation, and the passion that you saw in Senator Murphy. Donald Trump is just cutting. And the impact is going to be felt on us. We had Van Lathan on the Shade Room yesterday, and we were talking about tariffs. And he was just talking about how when we begin to really feel it, we were joking about bundles of hair and stuff like that, but when we really begin to feel it, the impact is going to be on us while Donald Trump is in the White House eating his McDonald's and drinking his Diet Coke. So, but moving on, we still have some people in the resistance that are pushing ahead. And I'm talking about New York AG Letitia James. She continues to go after Trump and his clan. And this time it's all for insider trading. She has started an inside trading inquiry on the Trump administration. And she's building on the 15 ongoing legal actions her office is pursuing against the president and his administration. Stacey, I'm so glad she's doing this, because when Marjorie Taylor Greene stuck her chest out a couple weeks ago, when what did Donald Trump do? He did something with the stock market. And what was it? Your mic is off.
It was with his crypto coin.
Yeah, okay. His
And,
crypto
he
coin.
did it, no, not his crypto coin. I'm mixing two things up. Is when he with the tariffs. Remember he yeah, it was the stock market and the tariffs.
Mhm.
So
And
he
it dropped.
right.
Yeah.
And then
It dropped.
right. And so all of the insiders were buying. And of course, the people who didn't know, lost money. Only the people at the top.
That
All,
knew. And
all the
Marjorie,
people who, right. All the people who invested in the same thing that, just regular traders who trying to make a few bucks, they lost money. But the other ones at the top didn't.
and Marjorie Taylor Greene, with her dumb self, went on camera publicly celebrating and talking about how she became a millionaire. And so I'm so glad that people like a Black woman, Letitia James, is not afraid of Donald Trump, and she's going to continue to go after him just like they coming after her.
Yeah, they're coming after her, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is again, we talked about this so many times. This is where another place where Biden failed to protect. I mean, he should have given her immunity.
Because she's bold and she's speaking out. But continuing news coming out of New York, the city has unveiled a new statue, and it's of a 12-foot Black woman in Times Square. Now, the statue is aimed to confront the preconceived notions of identity and representation. And so you can check out this statue of a 12-foot Black woman. It'll be on display until June 17th.
All right.
That was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. But they've been making they have been making fun of this statue online and stuff like that, and it's just been horrible. And of course, the MAGAs are going in, and people are disgusting in their hate.
I kind of like this because there is another story going around online about how the Statue of Liberty was supposed to be a Black woman when it was gifted to us by France, and America sent it back. And so I felt like, okay, Statue of Liberty was supposed to be a Black woman. So we're going to get a Black woman in New York. Either way. There she go right there.
Oh gosh.
And moving right along, we have a couple of HBCU headlines. We know Donald Trump is trying to defund so many Howard University. And now we have news coming out of Jackson State University, slightly different, but the president, Dr. Marcus Thompson, he's resigned just after 17 months in his role. They have an interim now, president now. And so you brought up some Jackson State University news earlier in the show. So now they're looking for leadership again. And in more HBCU news, take a look at this message from Will Packer. Maybe not.
Where's Will Packer? Well, RNG mentions that the former JSU president threw away an annual salary of $675,000 over some, as he put it, young stuff. The institution of higher learning in Mississippi is purposely setting up JSU with horrible presidents, he says. And here's Will Packer.
Here's Will Packer.
Urgent message for alumni and students of Florida A&M University, and a warning for all those who love and support HBCUs. HBCUs are under attack. MAGA is trying to take over leadership at several of our beloved institutions. Right now, FAMU is in the bullseye. Hear me loud and clear. Right this very minute, a group of activist Republicans are trying to put in the highest position of power someone who is solidly and objectively unqualified for it. Her name is Marva Johnson. FAMU deserves better. Marva Johnson has been named a finalist for the FAMU presidency by Florida Republicans who sit on the presidential search committee. Let me tell you a little bit about Marva Johnson. She is a career lobbyist with no experience in higher education administration. Literally, the same amount of higher education admin experience as you or I. Zero. None. Now, this is not just about her being a staunch Republican. Everyone has a right to their own political affiliations. But what we cannot allow is a hostile takeover by someone who is aligned with a party that has loudly and proudly espoused ideologies that attack diversity and diverse institutions, attack equitable economics, and attack inclusive principles. The exact pillars that institutions like FAMU were built upon. There is no place for that hateful and divisive rhetoric, not at the College of Love and Charity. As an active and proud alumni who has given money, who has given time, and who has given untold effort to the place that helped shape me, I refuse to sit idly by and watch others attempt to destroy the legacy that so many who came before us have built. Neither should you. Now, this process is moving fast.
Yeah. You know,
listen, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Listen, he's 100% right. And it's just a shame. Folks got to watch this. We got to watch this unfold.
Yeah, we have to pay attention and protect our HBCUs at all costs. But like once again, this is where the alumni can step in and start being better caretakers of our institutions. They always do the reference of how PWIs, they have millions of dollars. It's because in part, their alumni, they sow back into those institutions. And as Black folks, as we pull up to the homecomings, the Spring Fest, the Bayou Classics, and all of the classics, to celebrate, to party as we rightfully should, we should also be sewing into our institutions to where we don't have to rely on people like a Donald Trump and his clan, and be at their will. But speaking of appointees, you know, Donald Trump is becoming and is notorious for putting unqualified people in positions to cause havoc. So we see this with Marvin Johnson at FAMU. We saw just yesterday he picked Jana from Fox News to head up over in your territory, Greer and Stacy, to be a head top prosecutor in the DC area. A Fox News person.
Janine Pirro used to be the Westchester County District Attorney in New York a long time ago, long time ago. And when she was, and I will say this, when she was the Westchester County DA, she was a different person than she is after joining Fox News. And she's become a despicable person. She was a wonderful person to talk to report on. I covered her, and she went to Fox News, and everything changed.
Well, at least she's qualified. At least you're acknowledging that she is qualified.
Yeah, but she's going on an agenda now that wasn't hers back in the 90s and the early 2000s. You know, she's going on a Trump agenda now, and she's turned into this stark raven racist. And I didn't see any of that when I covered her for a couple of years back in the early 2000s. Didn't see any of that, and talked to her a lot.
All right, well, let me get through a couple more quickies. Speaking of HBCU and alumni, Anthony Anderson, who attended Howard University, I don't know if you guys know, but he and his partner, Cedric the Entertainer, have teamed up to start a barbecue line. They have barbecue sauce, and they've been growing that. Well, now they this week they kicked off and opened up a storefront barbecue spot here in Los Angeles. So they're taking this barbecue partnership to the next level, and they're serving slow smoked goodness, soul food, and good vibes. And so it's called AC Barbecue. It's in Culver City, a little trendy area here, right outside of right next to Beverly Hills here in California. And so if you ever come to LA and you're looking for some good barbecue and some good laughs, you might want to head over to AC Barbecue, which is the new home for Cedric the Entertainer and Anthony Anderson. Since we're still in California, Los Angeles has lost a Black icon. I'm talking about former California State Senator and Los Angeles City Councilman Nate Holden. He passed away yesterday. And so a lot of our city officials and City Hall council members are showing and paying tributes to him. Another person that gave him a beautiful tribute was, of course, the Los Angeles Sentinel and Tavis Smiley's KBLA talk radio station. And finally, there he is right there, the beloved Nate Holden. He has a theater out here as well that sometimes David Letterman films his show on Netflix. It's filmed at the Nate Holden Theater sometimes. And last but not least, Sesame Street. Check this out, y'all. Elmo has turned to LinkedIn and he's looking for work. That he posted his resume on LinkedIn. And the famous puppet says he's lost his job after 45 years. And while he is sad, he is excited for what's next. He gave a shout out to Big Bird, to the Cookie Monster, and all the other his loved ones at the Sesame Street land. But you know, the puppets are looking for work. Donald Trump has even stolen their jobs. And those are your quickies for today.
Oh, that Elmo says, tickle me with a job. So a couple of Black history facts before we get out of here. On this date in 1899, John Albert Burr patented the rotary lawnmower. He was born to formerly enslaved parents, but his design made mowing easier, cleaner, and more precise, and it's still on the yard today. So our Black history fact is John Albert Burr. Awesome.
Nice, nice. And on this day, Little Richard, the founding father of rock and roll, who broke musical barriers, he died on this day in 1987. Was it Little Richard that said "Great Balls of Fire"? Was that him?
No, that's
Who's
Jerry,
that?
Jerry Lee
Oh,
Lewis.
but wasn't it always that Little Richard, like he stole Little Richard's?
Everybody stole from Little Richard.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
And Little
yes.
Richard was one to tell you everybody stole from him.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't never gave me nothing, is what he said. At the 1936 Olympics, despite his historic run, he returned to segregation and worked as a street sweeper in Pasadena. Name this forgotten medalist whose brother broke barriers in a different arena. Who is it? Who is it? Jackie
Matthew
Robinson's
Mack
brother.
Robinson.
There you go. So we had some folks who had it right. I
Yeah,
did
you
not
guys had
have
it
that.
right.
Very good. Matthew Mack Robinson. Very good. Okay.
I'm,
And our
I'm
black
glad I didn't put no money on that.
our black-owned newspaper of the day. I'm glad you didn't put any money on it either. Is the Oklahoma Eagle. The Oklahoma Eagle is a Tulsa-based black-owned newspaper published by James O. Goodwin. And it was established in 1922, and it has been called the voice of Black Tulsa and is a successor to the Tulsa Star newspaper, which burned in the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. The Oklahoma Eagle. Wow. Check them out, folks.
Yeah, check them out. And, it's the weekend, so you definitely want to keep up with what's happening in Black America. And there's only one place to do it. That's at blackpressusa.com.
Folks, have a great and safe weekend, and we will definitely see you on Monday.